with me today Zeke Maidmont, who lives in Wenham, Massachusetts, and he works for the Department of Public Works. But Zeke, you have kind of an interesting story to tell us.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What is this farm behind us?
This is Green Meadows Farm. It's owned and operated by General Patton. That was back a few years ago.
Several years ago.
Several years ago,
Yeah.
yes. And it's still, Mrs. Patton is still here.
Okay.
She is still here, but I don't think she's home now. But right behind me is where the General Patton used to live, and up above there is the stable where I used to live.
Oh, you actually lived here on the farm.
I
now,
lived
why did you live here?
because my father was a chauffeur for Mrs. Patton.
Hey, that's cool. Did you get to ride in that car?
I very seldom. The only time I got to ride in the car was from here to the square for gasoline and back again, and that was it. My father was a chauffeur for 20, 30 years, carrying Mrs. Patton around while the generals overseas or in the wars or what else.
And this was his farm?
This was his farm, yes.
Oh, that's great.
Now, he had 4 kids. Now, the kids didn't stay with him very long because they couldn't put up with his nuisance. Because he was Army, strictly Army, and everything had to be strict.
Now he was born in California, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
But he made Massachusetts his home later in life?
That's right.
Visitors are welcome at the Green Meadows farm stand on the Hamilton-Topsfield border. Here it's eco-friendly farming at its finest. Now Zeke, General Patton came back to Hamilton in 1945 on leave, and they had a big time for him in what is now Patton Park. Do you remember that day?
Yes, I do. Yes, I was just a little fella. I can remember all the MPs and all the Army servicemen were all here, and it was quite a time. I can just barely remember that because I was small.
I was 8 years old, and I know my mother brought me there, and it was rather exciting because I did get to shake his hand. Since then, they've dedicated this park to him, and so it's called Patton Park, right?
Correct. That's correct.
And we have a picture of that day, and then after we see the picture, we're actually going to visit Patton Park. Well, thanks, Zeke. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Whoops! My memories of 64 years ago aren't too reliable. The actual reception for General Patton in 1945 was at the old junior high school on Union Street. Patton Park on Route 1A was named for him at the annual town meeting in 1946. These mile markers, which line the route of the Allied liberation of France, were a gift of the citizens of France to Hamilton, Massachusetts. It says, "In gratitude to General Patton and his valorous Third Army." Just before Christmas, Hamilton, Wenham, and Ipswich were proud to serve as hosts to the Wreaths Across America organization. This group, founded in Maine, donates Christmas wreaths to adorn veterans' graves at Arlington National Cemetery. School children, veterans, police, fire, town officials, and just ordinary folk greeted them at Patton Park. At the park, Joanne Patton, daughter-in-law of General George S. Patton, spoke a few words.
I hope you will forgive me for taking a moment, but I must, in the name of the Patton family and all who are service families everywhere, in thanking Wreaths Across America, its founders and its executors, and this wonderful community for understanding that this is a profound but uplifting moment in honoring service. I will be personal enough also to say that I am so thankful to know that one of these wreaths in the hands of the Mrs. Cross of the Gold Star Mothers will be placed at the grave of my husband, which is in Arlington Cemetery. So my heart goes with the procession, but now my honor goes to all of our veterans, and I'm thankful to have such a partner to present with me.